Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the post-race press conference from Houston, Texas. Round number one of the 2021 Monster Energy Supercross Championship. Great night of racing, and looking forward to talking to the riders a little bit about how the night went for them. 450 class, big win for Justin Barsha, debuting the gas machine. Congratulations. Kenny Roxon in second, Marvin Muskin in third. We'll see if Marv pops on here in a second. He's not with us just yet. 250 class, congratulations. Christian Craig gets the win. Austin Faulkner in second. Colton Nichols in third. That's your podium. Guys, I'll start with the 450 class. And, you know, there's been a lot made out of the opener being in Houston. We're so used to Anaheim, and there's just that A1 vibe. And, you know, today did feel a little bit different. And I'm just curious of your thoughts, Justin. I'll start with you. At Anaheim, there's always the fans. There's your friends and getting tickets. And it's just such a overly hyped, not overly, but it's a hyped up race from so many different angles. Did Houston feel different to you at all? Just the way the day went and those round one vibes, did it feel different to you?
Yeah, for sure. It felt a little different. It's not Anaheim. You know, it's definitely, like you said, the pressure on Anaheim is a little bit bigger, especially it would have been probably a little bit bigger for me just because I won the last 2 years. So it felt good to come here and not have that pressure. The three-peat thing was not even a thought. I had enough pressure just on myself, like, doing that Anaheim video and stuff like that. So I just had to, deal with that pressure and stuff. So all in all, yeah, it was a little different vibe, but honestly, we were just stoked to be here racing with some fans.
Kenny, following up to you, and it's the same question, but from a little bit different angle. You know, at the opening round, there's all the jitters because you don't know if your bike's good. You don't know if you're good. You don't know how you stack up. And now that you've gone through this first round on that new bike and gotten through it, what's it feel like now on the back end of this? Again, a new machine for you, and to come in and kind of work it out on the fly and come away with a second, I have to imagine that's a good start for you.
Oh, really good, yeah. And, you know, it really feels like it's been forever since I've raced, you know, since I didn't ride outdoors. But I would agree. This race, though, was the most normal race. You know, Salt Lake did not feel normal whatsoever. But coming here and having some fans in the stadium, it just had a little bit of the sense of like the good old days, let's call them that way. Even though we're not quite completely there yet, but I just had fun out there. It felt like we were in the middle of the season, to be honest. But yeah, finishing the first race in second, again, I think I did the same thing in 2019. It's just really good. I think there was a lot of madness going on behind us, and it was nice to stay away from that. And like I said, I just changed my complete outlook on the whole racing side of things. So I really just tried to race today and enjoy myself. And that's exactly what I've done. So I'm really over the moon with tonight.
It was a good ride. Battle to Justin, Kenny, that man. You guys, you had the crowd here on their feet for that one. That was awesome. Marvin, I'll bring you in on this. Congrats on the podium in third. We talked all day about just how stacked the field is. There's so many guys in this 450 class. And for you, we kind of didn't know really where you were going to be because we missed y'all last year. And does it feel good for you to come out here with this stacked field and be able to complete the opener, be on the podium, not only prove to yourself that you're ready to go, but even from a points perspective, just start the championship off right there in the top three?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. To be honest, practice went pretty good. I mean, qualified third, that was awesome. Time was so close, like the top 15 within a second. I knew the start was going to be the key, and the heat race was a little rough. I was not feeling comfortable. Like, I felt like it was completely different than practice, and I was a little bit mad. I ended up crashing and qualified 8th out of the heat. Then you go on the starting line, you have a bad gate pick. You're like, man, it's going to be a tough one. But actually, I had the gate by the box, and I ended up having a great start. Like, I was up front. I got past, right away. I was like a 3rd or 4th, but then I got to settle down right there and pass Brayton back, and then pass Adam back for 3rd. So I was super pumped on my riding. I just wanted to be smooth and be consistent for the rest of the main. I knew the two guys up front, they were gone. So to be smooth right there, like a 3rd place, rode my own race. It was just amazing for a comeback in the first race. It's unmovable.
Well, congratulations, guys. 250 division. Christian, I'm going to start with you, man. Just a great night, a great day all around. But on the podium, or on the ground on the next to the podium. I got to talk to you after the heat race, and you had this like laser focus. I could tell there was some intensity, and then there was a lot of purpose with the way you were riding today. And then, of course, on the podium after the main, that completely flipped the motion. Just kind of take me through the entire day and just where you were leading up to that main event. And then, of course, when you cross the finish line and the fireworks go off, just how that motion just completely shifted when you got it done.
Yeah. I mean, like, just the whole day was good, but I've had so many of these days, like everyone kind of knows my story. If you've followed it, it's like I can qualify good. I can win heat races, but then something happens in the main, like I make a mistake, I get a bad start, I tip over, just something that, you know, I just can't control sometimes. But it's kind of like I had this chip on my shoulder today, and I still do. It's not like I got rid of it, but just something that I needed to prove to myself. I do believe in myself. And after the off season that we had, there was just kind of like this, yeah, like I said, this chip on my shoulder, and I just felt it all day. I was flowing. Man, it was awesome. And yeah, when I crossed that finish line, just so much emotion, so much, it kind of took me back a couple of years when I was struggling and going through the whole FIM thing. It was so easy for me to just give up and call it a career. And I'm happy I stuck into it. And you know, I'm just going to keep this going.
Austin, you know, a couple of years back, I remember watching you in qualifying, and you just couldn't stand not being in first. You just had to be first. And then in that main event, you get second place, and I talked to you on the podium, and you're like, this is a win. I'm just happy to be on the podium. Is that because the situation's different, or is this part of the maturing process? Because again, 2 years ago, you would have never put up with this. And then tonight, it seemed more like you were thinking big picture.
Well, yeah. Two, also maybe it would probably be different too if I would have, you know, gotten past for the lead and gotten second. That would have, but I was just happy with the ride, because coming around that first turn, I looked up and it was, I mean, all the big names in the 250 class for this coast in front of me. And I, like, in the first rhythm section, I was like, damn, like, this is going to be, it's going to be tough to get on the podium tonight. Then I got into second, and I was like, okay, like, this is good. Like, even if I don't win, I'm going to be happy with this race. And I put on a charge and was trying to reel Christian in, and I did a little bit, but then I really kind of got screwed from, there was a red cross between us, and I lost, like, I just looked at the lap sheet and I lost like over 2 seconds. Like, I kind of reeled that 2 seconds in, and then I hit the red cross and he didn't, and I lost that 2 seconds back. So you know, that kind of, like, I was kind of, you know, reeling. I was like, okay, maybe. And then we did that, and then I just couldn't, I mean, I tried, but I just couldn't, you know, get that time that I needed to catch him. And then the last like lap and a half, 2 laps, I kind of realized that, and I just kind of put it on cruise control. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a good race. And coming off of my injury from last year, how, you know, it was pretty bad. And then with how I rode tonight, and uncharacteristically kind of not great starts of me. So having to come through the pack and being able to pass the top guys like that, and you know, get second, that tonight for me was a win. It was good. So yeah, that's why I'm happy with second, I guess.
Well, good job on that for sure. Colt, we talked about it a little bit on the podium, man. The starts got you today. You were in a fight the whole time with RJ. You were in a fight with Jet. You were in a fight with Austin. Now that you've had a chance to settle down after the race and evaluate everything, will a good start really, I mean, make the difference for you? Do you feel like you could win this thing? Because again, the speed was there, the fight was there, but the starts just really didn't give you a shot.
Yeah, they definitely kind of got me a little bit tonight. But overall, yeah, I mean, I am happy with it overall. It was just needed to start a little better. You know, I think me and Austin were battling pretty good the first like few laps. It was a lot of carnage. The first few laps being that far back, only like 7 or 8, but it was just a lot going on. And yeah, I needed that to try to compete for the win or get up there and at least try to get second or whatever. So overall, I'm happy. It's been a long time since I've raced. I kind of forgot, man. Being on the gate for the heat race, it was a atrocious start. I think it was like 4 from last. So like I just forgot how to do it, to be honest. But overall, yeah, I'm happy. It's been a while since we've raced, so end up on the podium's good. But I feel like I have good speed. I got fitness, and you know, that fight was there. I was in pretty much a dogfight the whole race, but it made it fun, honestly. So I'm looking forward to Tuesday and getting back out there.
Good ride, and congratulations to all you on the podium. We'll bring the media in now to ask you guys some questions. I'm going to start with Dan Beaver, NBC Sports, and we'll take it from there, guys. Dan?
Question for both Ken and Marvin. Ken first, I suppose, Marvin next. How important was it to shake the rust off, or did you shake the rust off this first race after what you missed last year?
Well, since I didn't race outdoors, yes, it has been a while, but in general, the mindset that I was in is that this is, I mean, I've done it, like I'm almost 27 now, and I've raced plenty of seasons, you know, so I kind of know what to expect, and it's really what you do with that mindset. So I didn't really feel too rusty out there.
Marvin?
Yeah, for myself, yeah, to be honest, I was a little bit nervous because I feel like Supercross is it's you know, you have to be very precise, and you really like I feel like you get raced closer to other guys than outdoors. But anyway, I was super excited, and I just wanted to get out there and get the first one, you know, done. And I'm gonna get better with more racing, fitness wise, confidence wise, everything. So I'm excited to go racing again very soon on the Tuesday. But yeah, to be honest, like missing a whole season and to come back, I know, like Ken said, yeah, we've raced for so many years, but still, I mean, missing a whole year, it's weird. But when I got out there, it didn't feel, you know, too new. You know, I'm still, you know, used to that. It's just the fitness wise to me, I feel like, and the intensity that needs to come back. So that's why racing multiple times like that in the week, it would be good.
Steve Giverson, Vital MX.
Sorry about that.
All good.
Justin, after the finish line, you know, hanging out with the team, watching you shake your head, and the reaction was like you almost couldn't believe it. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a lot to take in. It was an intense race. Like, you know, me and Kenny checked out, and he kept the pressure on me, and made a few little mistakes. But all in all, it was just a really intense race. You know, the off-season training went extremely smooth. You know, the transition to the team went really well. So I felt really good. And then coming into this, you know, you just don't know where you're at. I mean, I know I can win, but there's more to that. And like, you know, it was definitely a lot of like, whoa, that was crazy. It's a lot of emotions to take in, and we put in a lot of work, and you know, it's feels really good. I was really, really happy. Just, it's a lot to take in. I don't know. A lot of people like smile. I'm like, it's just a lot.
For a first race on a new bike, obviously, I think you have to be happy with that result.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really stoked on the result. Like, yeah, winning was great. If I would have got third tonight, that would have been great. Like, if I would have finished top 5, it would have been great tonight for me. But to win it was awesome. Was really stoked on my starts. Had, you know, I've always been a really good starter, but the past like 5 years, it's been difficult. So tonight, like, to rip starts on my bike and stuff was cool. And I felt really good riding. I felt like I could throw the bike around and kind of do whatever I wanted, and it was cool to have Caddy pushing me the whole time, and you know, we were definitely going for it. It was rad first race.
I think you and of the 3 guys on the podium tonight, 2 of you guys are running the air shock. What do you like about that thing? What's different about it? What can you tell us now that we're here?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was definitely really hush hush before the season, and you know, I got to test it, and then it kind of went away for a little bit because we were waiting on parts and stuff. So, you know, and then I went back to my spring shock and then back to air shock when you know, like probably 4 weeks before the season. And it's just very consistent. You know, you don't get any fade like a spring shock. And yeah, there's definitely some positives to it versus spring shock, but Yeah, I'm super stoked to have it. I think it's a good thing for us. I'm glad, you know, the whole KTM brand and WP they figured that out, and it was cool actually. Like Roger actually did a lot of work on that. Like I would see him in his shop. I spent some time in the shop, and he'd be in the machine shop like making parts for it and stuff. So super rad. It's been a cool experience with that. You know, that was the really only thing we were testing was a little bit of suspension stuff all off season, and yeah, it's really good.
Thanks.
David Iser, DMXS Radio.
Thanks, Daniel. Kenny, during the main event, it seems like you came up on a Bam Bam twice in that same corner, but you held back. Was that kind of season management, basically saying this is the first race, let's get through this one healthy and maybe not push it the first race?
Well, you kind of got to pick your battles. You know, when the ruts get deep and they're tacky like that, to make a block pass right there is, you know, and even you don't want contact, but sometimes it just happens, whether you lock bars a little bit. And being in ruts like that, it's just, if we both go down, then none of us will, you know, we're both going to be mad, and it just doesn't really help us. So I was kind of just trying to pick my battles. If I felt like that I had the edge on that, I feel like I would have made it happen, but it was just one of those things. He was really high on the, really high in the rut, like almost at the very top rut. And I come in at such a steep angle. And for me to make that pass, I have to take his line away. And if I even, or if he doesn't expect it like that, and if he slows down or I clip his front wheel or whatever, and we just both, especially being in the ruts, we will both go down. So that's how I thought of it. Could you have made it happen? Probably. But at the same time, I was just picking my battles.
Was there any other part of the track that you thought you could gain on him? It seemed like that was like the only track part. He was fixing those mistakes and taking away your lines.
Well, the thing was that, so after the whoops, for example, he was doing a different rhythm. I was still doing the 3 and quad in the beginning, but at the same time, when he's right in front of me, I don't know. I could have quadded, but since he was right in front of me, I always had the sense of like, man, if I quad, since he's jumping onto the tabletop and off, it's kind of like check it up a little bit. And if I jump kind of like fast, I feel like I would land on him and it would just be too sketchy. So again, I'm kind of just picking my battles. And then the other half of the track was just too easy. And then we had, you know, half technical and half easy track and fast track. So I just couldn't make it happen. I really couldn't. And then after that, after the beginning, when we were really close, I was never really close enough to even put in an attack really. So, and then, well, thanks, you know, my knuckles are bruised like crazy from the dirt being so tacky.
Okay. Bam Bam, it seems like this point in your career, even though you made this switch and you loved the bike and it worked out well, until you raced tonight, was there still that little bit of a doubt where you had to basically make this happen to be like, okay, I made the right decision?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was, you know, you know, at a point I lost a little bit of belief for sure, all the years of struggling, but like I knew with, you know, I've done all my off-season training. I've, you know, I kind of know what to do now. I'm 28 years old. So it's like, you know, time to do it or not. And yeah, like it was weird coming in. Like I said, the off-season went really like smooth and easy. And then get here today, like once I won that heat race, I was kind of like, whoa, that felt really good and relieved some pressure. But yeah, the main event it was sick. But yeah, I felt like definitely needed to do that tonight. I mean, like I said, I would have been happy with, you know, any podium position, but to win it is just, you know, kind of icing on the cake. And you know, like kind of Kenny said, it was like it's a first race, and you know, like he said, he probably could have made a pass there, but also we might have both went down. And so you gotta, you know, we've grown up a lot and just gotta, you know, we got a long season ahead of us, so need to be smart. But also, you know, it was he kept me on my toes for sure. He could have put me in a mistake, so it was a good race.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Daniel.
Mitch Kendra.
Mitch Kendra from Race Rex. Hey, Cole, my question's for you real quick. So you kind of came out of nowhere at the end to snag that podium finish. Does this year kind of feel like a reset? Obviously, 2020, you didn't really get the results because of injuries. What do you know, do you feel like you're back to 2019 form when you won the opener and had the red plate and the points lead? What did you do? Anything different coming in this year? Or just what are you thinking about this year compared to last year and what you learned from last year going through what you did?
Yeah, for sure. It was tough with the injury bug and whatnot, you know, like we've all faced. But I definitely was very unprepared going into Salt Lake. I was just kind of trying to wing it, to be honest. And got some decent finishes, but yeah, I actually got to have an off season this year like I had in 2019, and that's, you know, pretty huge for me. I've only had that twice, 19 and, you know, now this year. So I definitely feel like I'm ready to win. I feel strong. I feel fit, and done things a little different than we did in 19, even to improve a little bit, and put on a little bit of weight, got a little stronger, you know, stuff that I felt like I struggled with in previous. So yeah, I feel good. I feel better than 2019 form. I just got to obviously get out of the gate a little better. My starts were awesome then, so if we can get back to that, I'll be happy. But yeah, overall, I feel awesome, man. I feel like I'm ready to go compete for this title, and it was a good way to start it off tonight, but a lot of racing left in 2 short weeks, so got to go make it happen.
And then, so like you said, you haven't raced a whole bunch. How are you going to take these next couple of days and recover for the next race?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to, I think we're all, you know, all in the same boat, just trying to kind of chill and not doing much. You know, we have Sunday, Monday to really relax, and no different than during the week. You know, the hard work's pretty much already done. So now we just kind of chill, do some recovery spins, hang out a little bit, then be firing on Tuesday. So I love the schedule. I'm pretty excited for it. So I'll be looking forward to it in a few days.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, Mitch. Dark Side, Moto X Pod.
All right, first one's for Austin. If we go back and look at the last couple seasons, you know, the way they've ended for you, there's always somebody, whether it be Chase Sexton, that there's a little bit of drama with, or, you know, somebody that you seem to go from a 10 to 11 when you're close to. This year, we're kind of hyping it as Jet's the guy, right? What is it that you're going to work with, or who's going to help you maybe back that down if you need to while you're in the heat of the moment? Are you able to do that?
I mean, I had to pass him twice tonight. I don't feel like if that's the guy that I was supposed to, my rival or whatever, like everybody was hyping it up like that. So if that's, you know, I had passed him twice tonight, and I didn't, you know, freak out or do anything stupid either time to pass him. So I mean, I don't feel like I mean, to be honest, I don't really care about everybody hyping one certain person up. I mean, especially before the season starts, you don't even know. Like, you know, you have no idea who is gonna, you have, you know, a few guys, but you're like, oh, this person versus this person, it's gonna be those two for sure. You don't know until the racing starts. So, you know, I mean, I'm trying not to get flustered or anything, no matter who I pass, and I had to do a lot of passing tonight. So I feel like I actually handled myself really well with passing, and with, you know, I didn't really make any, you know, stupid, overly aggressive passes. I didn't really do anything stupid to make a pass. I didn't feel like I have like a few sketchy moments, but I mean, everybody does. So I felt like, honestly, that's what I was happy about tonight, was that I had to make a lot of passes, and with a track that was, you know, kind of half technical, half easy, and it was a little hard to, I mean, a lot of other guys were saying it was hard to pass on. I made quite a bit of passes tonight, so I was, you know, just happy with that, I think.
Okay. Christian, typically you guys would go home and get some recovery time. We're going racing again in a couple nights. Obviously, you did it a little bit last year. I mean, is it feel good that, hey, 2 more days and we can do it again, or is it you kind of wish that you had a few extra days and it was, you know, maybe not until next Saturday?
No, I'm all for this schedule. Yeah, we chill for a couple days, like Colt said. We're gonna probably do some Zwifts and like nothing too crazy. It's more just recovery and chill, and hang out with the kids tomorrow, and, you know, get back to it Tuesday. No, I'm excited. I think it's a cool schedule, and it's gonna be a little bit different track, but hopefully they make it a little more technical. It was pretty basic tonight. You had to be aggressive to make some passes, and yeah, I was aggressive with RJ in that heat, but that was kind of the only way to get around this, you know, with 2 laps to go. But yeah, it was. I'm looking forward to it for Tuesday.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Darkside. Jason Wygant, Racer X.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. I'll go to Barsha first. It seemed like you were really trying to downplay the three-peat thing, and then unfortunately that video came out, which I think you had shot that a little while ago, and it probably ratcheted the pressure up. And you also weren't really going out of your way, I think, to build up, oh, I'm going to be a totally new rider on this bike. I feel like you were trying to downplay things. So was that your plan going in, to try to take the pressure off and not make any bold statements? But then unfortunately a video came out that kind of did it for you.
Yeah, definitely. I, you know, wanted to keep the pressure off as much as I could and just do my work and put my head down. And just do it. But then, you know, Troy hit me up and was like, hey, we want to do this video. And then Jeremy from Red Bull was like super about it. And, you know, I couldn't say no. I was like, it was really fun, really exciting. I loved every moment of it. I think it was great. But on my side, it was definitely more pressure. And like, once it was fully released, like, I just stayed off social media. I was like, there's no need for me to go on there and see like people being super negative or rude or just whatever. You know, social media is not a great place nowadays. So, you know, just let it be what it is. I know people were, you know, some people were really stoked on it and other people weren't too happy about it. But yeah, I definitely wanted to keep a cool, calm off season, and that definitely wrapped it up and didn't do me any favors. But I'm glad today went how it did, so I could, like, you know, what do they say? Shut the haters up. But it's, you know, it is what it is. But it, like I said too earlier, it's a long season, and I want to be there through the whole thing. And racing Kenny tonight, like, that was really rad, and yeah, it was good.
Is there a certain moment when you're on the track, even if it's yesterday, a press day or practice, or even if you're leading the heat or the main, where that pressure goes away and you're like, okay, it's not talk or anything like that anymore. I'm just racing and riding my dirt bike and we're just back to what we're used to. Does that happen?
Yeah, I felt phenomenal on press day, but like the pressure was still there. Felt great in practice. Haven't qualified like that or like had good starts like that in a long time, so felt good there, but pressure was still there. Heat race was better. It like made me like, okay, you're in a good spot. It'll be a good night. Like, whatever happens. So yeah, after the heat, the pressure definitely was a little less, and I was able to be like, all right, my work was good, and you know, let's do this main event.
Okay, and one last thing for you. You said your starts haven't been good in a while. I mean, is this a bike thing? What's the difference here? Because you nailed all three.
Yeah, it's a bike thing for sure. The bike's really good. Steel frame sick, and that the engine's really, like, the power of it is incredible. You know, I got on it and I never tested anything with the engine. I just rode what they gave me, and it's a really good bike. The whole KTM brand, Gas Husky, like, they do a really good job. And you know, yeah, I've always been good at starts. Like on 250s, I was great. Like the bike was good then, and then I struggled a lot. And yeah, this bike fits me really well. It's skinny and it's a rocket off the gate. Not like rocket like loop out, just it goes.
Thanks. I'll go to Kenny. It kind of seems like you have a little different mental outlook too. I think we were all looking for the storybook ending with the injury years ago, and now it seemed like in everything you were saying preseason, you were just trying to say, I'm here to enjoy it. Whatever happens, happens. You weren't making any bold claims. Do you feel like you have a different outlook going into the season this year than past?
For sure. I'm on Justin's side. Like, my off season was super mellow and low stress, and I was kind of like by myself quite a bit in California. Not surrounded by a whole lot of riders and a lot of activity and having a stopwatch race every single day. And I think that helped me just kind of coming back, because obviously since I didn't race outdoors, I took quite a bit of time off, and to come back from that, it just takes time, right? And as a racer, it's really difficult, or you tend to go back to, you know, practicing, and then you want to be good right away, and then why are the other guys so good and you're not, and then you get winded right away, which is all completely normal. That is the whole point of letting your body rest, and then you build yourself up all the way to the first race. And there was just no freakouts, and I did a lot of different work this year, to be honest, compared to the past years. Just different structure, and we're kind of just moving some things around, learning a lot of new stuff. And I think that's overall paying off. And again, I know everybody's still, and probably even after this race, people are going to be like, oh my God, it's going to be him, them, whatever. And it's just one race. But all I want to do is enjoy myself out there. And that's what I did. I'm sure there will be weekends that it'll be a little tougher than tonight, and maybe not the result that we were hoping for, but it's all about what you're going to do with it.
All right. Thanks, Kenny. Marvin, you mentioned like fitness. Is that just something that only comes with racing? I mean, I'm sure you worked hard to get ready. Is that just something you need racing to get that final step?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I mentioned. You know, you do your motos at home, but racing's just feels different to me. So the intensity, the riders, even though I practice with good guys, with Cooper and Zach, but when you're racing, you have 20 other good guys. So like in the heat race, I mean, I was not riding really well, and then everybody was right on my tail and pushing and revving, and it's different. So you got to be on point, and the racing and the fitness for the whole 20 moto is it feels a little bit different. I mean, every track's all different than what you have at home and racing. So today the dirt was super tacky, so it made it different than what we have at home, even though we have 2 different tracks or 3, but that's why I feel like, racing will help me getting better. I need to be healthy, not have little injuries, and because we racing so many times in 1 week, so we got to be consistent. But it's a great start. I just need to keep on going and get back to it. I feel like.
All right, thanks, Marv. For Christian Craig, you really seem like you want to establish yourself even in practice. Like you were trying to be the first guy on the track, and then I know you said you had some aggressive passes with RJ. Maybe that was just because of the track, but it looked like you were really trying to establish a tone. Did you feel that way? Because that's what it looked like, Christian.
Yeah, but that's something I've always done. I've always wanted to go out first. That's been my thing is try to get out front and kind of race those opening laps and just kind of get that feel of the race pace. And but yeah, it's like last year I got pushed around a lot, and I'm older in the class, so that shouldn't be happening. It's like I should be taking advantage of these young kids making mistakes, or be smarter than them. So I did it in the heat race. I made an aggressive pass. Didn't mean to hit RJ, but there was only 2 laps left, and had to get through for that heat win. But yeah, I set a tone from practice 1 on. It's always plan to get out front and set that pace.
Thanks. And one more for Austin Forkners. What changed for you between practice and the heat and the main? Because it seemed like you rode a whole lot better when it was race time, even having to make those passes. Did something change?
No, I have just always been a racer. I mean, you can look at, 2 years ago, I was kind of, I guess, really focused on trying to be the fastest, but then I tore my ACL in practice. And so you can look at last year. I remember a few times last year, I was 7th, 8th, and then would win. So, and then that's happened in both classes. I've seen. It's just, who cares about qualifying is kind of my thing. Get through and get a decent gate pick for the heat, but qualifying really doesn't mean anything. So obviously I want to try to, I'm not going to mean anything, because when you're fastest, you carry that kind of, you carry your chest maybe a little bit higher walking to the gate for race time, just because you're the fastest in practice. You're the fastest guy there in practice. So, but, setting 1 lap and being able to do a 15 or a 20-minute moto at that pace is completely different. And just, on that 1 fast lap, you usually have a clear track. When in the race, you're dealing with lappers, you're dealing with, whatever. So it's just a different thing. And I feel like I've always been known as a racer over a practicer. And then that 1 year I put too much emphasis on practice and I ended up getting hurt in it. So that's I tried to take that and learn a lot from that. So always remember, dude, I am a racer, just know it. And then, I made a few mistakes in practice and we changed a few things on the bike and made it better, but just, I don't know. I just seems like when the the lights come on, the pyro comes, was a big thing tonight, because it actually felt like a race, unlike Salt Lake City, where it felt like a weird local supercross. I don't know what it felt like. It was just, but with everything and a little bit of fans, you could hear them a little bit. Just felt like a race, and I feel like I perform better when it's race time.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Weege. I'm going to sneak one in. Alex Gobert, I'm coming to you next. But Kenny, the heat race, jumping the quad behind Justin, that was close. That was a close one.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't too worried because the last one wasn't that steep. But at the same time, since the takeoff is so flat, you hit it with so much speed, right? So I saw him kept hitting it, and I'm like, man, if if I want to do it in the main, right now is the best time to do it because I have somebody in front of me that is doing it over and over. So right now is time for me to do it. And honestly, when I watched it on the screen on TV or on what we filmed, I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? Because I literally landed off the finish line, John, and he thought I'd be doing a parade lap and then just tried to jump it. You know what I mean? So I was just a little bit too cautious and tried to get the pop, and I didn't, and clipped it there. So got it dialed though in the main event. You know, I was pumped. We were doing it pretty much every single lap, and I don't know if the guys were doing it behind us, but it was, I think so, especially since they fixed up the berm. Here is my theory about it. If they fix it up and the berm is sweet, it'll be a lot faster, especially if you grease it. But if it gets super rutted and you jump this quad and you have to hit some of the top ruts and they get super bumpy, then I don't think you'd necessarily be gaining that much. But yeah, I did it, cased it, and then did it in the main, and we did it the whole time. So it was fun. It was good.
Seemed like you guys kind of learned to slow down, set up, and then seat bounce and pop.
Yeah.
Trying to get that lift because there was no lift the other way.
Totally. And what made me mad the most is that for how small the finish line was, I swear to you, out of 28 laps, I probably cased that thing 24. I don't know what I was thinking. I was always trying to just push the bike down to go as low as possible. Clipped it every time.
Alex Gobert.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, Alex Gobert, motoonline.com. I'll start with Kenny. You debuted the new Honda tonight. Was there anything that you discovered during the main event? Any changes to be made, or were you good?
I honestly did the slightest little changes to the motorcycle throughout the whole day. And the nice thing is with this bike that compared to last year's bike, you would do a couple of clicks and the bike was almost unrideable just because of the difference that it made. And this bike is super consistent where we would make a change and sometimes I didn't even notice it that much. So I guess with how consistent this bike is really good. I think there are little things to improve on, but at the same time, I'm not worrying about it right now as we have a lot of races in a row here and there's no time to test anyway. So I honestly am just knocking it out of my head right now. Deal with what I have. I feel like the balance of the bike and everything's really good. And it's the first race, and especially on a new bike, but for everybody. So once we go back to Florida, we'll debrief with the team and see what we can do different. But at the same time, it's been working all right. And this is about as tacky as you get of a track. It did get broken down and we got ruts, and I actually thought it was quite bumpy. So, and the bike handled it well.
How did you feel personally? How's the health, the fitness?
Really good. Like I said, I've done a lot of different procedure training wise, and I actually felt really solid out there. I think we did about 28 laps, and I wasn't really looking at the time or anything like that once, which that is always a good sign. That means you're just right in the battle, right in the moment. And yeah, I think that's what makes racing the funnest. It's not a good sign when you feel like crap from the beginning on, and then you're halfway through the motor and you're like, oh God, how am I going to survive this? So, there was none of that tonight. So it was awesome.
Thanks. And for Justin Barsha, congratulations on the win. Great ride. This is obviously your third opening round win in a row, 3 years straight. So what's different about this package? Do you feel like this package with the gas, with the TLD team, do you feel like it's going to enable you to carry that form across the 17 rounds, better than in the past?
Yeah, for sure. It's honestly, I don't really look back at the past. I'm just looking at the present. And this team, I've really enjoyed working with the guys. It's been extremely fun. Also very serious, but fun. The motorcycle is a great fit for me. It's skinny, it's light, and it's got a good power band. Obviously, I'm got a tendency to go from 0 to 100 on the throttle, so I still need to be smooth and have to ride the bike good. But all in all, it's a very forgiving bike, when you make little mistakes and stuff. So I just think it's a great fit for me. I'm glad I made the choice, and just looking forward to the year. I think it's going to be fun. But yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Well done.
Thanks.
We're going to rip through 3 more questions. David Iser, Mitch Kendra, and Steve Giverson, 1, 2, 3. Iser, we'll start with you.
All right, thanks, Daniel. Christian, I've never seen anybody, I guess maybe more self-aware of their motivations. And I was wondering, you're talking about proving these haters wrong and maybe over what you've gone through these last several years. Who are you talking about? Is it the fans? Is it the industry, people that didn't believe in you? Who are you so focused on proving wrong?
There's a lot of people, and I can call a lot of people out, but I just use that as motivation. It's I hear on podcasts, I hear on just little chirps here and there, but it used to bug me, I'd say, back in the day, and nowadays I use it as motivation to just kind of prove them wrong. And it wasn't like hating, like haters, but I feel like I got written off last year, and you know, my results weren't that great, so you know, whatever, but that just lit a fire under me, I say.
Okay, so is it when you talk about this with the second chance, third chance, whatever in your career, this is, you use that literally as they say in the locker room paper to look at, and you use that as motivation to do what you did tonight?
Yeah, I turn it into a positive. It's you can't please everyone, and there's always gonna be people that are doubting you or hating on you, and that's just part of it. But as long as you are doing your job and winning, you know, that's all you can do.
Okay. My last question is to Ken Roxon. Ken, they ran a little piece tonight during the broadcast about you sharing a ride with Tomac. You rode last week before the race with Barsha over the TLD track. Is this like the new thing? Because
is he breaking up?
I think so. Look at his face on there, frozen.
For my generation.
Oh, there, yeah, now you're back. Sorry, you were breaking up.
Okay, I'll start again. They ran a piece during the broadcast where you hopped a ride with Tomac to the race. And I know you rode last week with Barsha at the test track. Is this the new, you know, the older guys, the more mature guys? You guys can do this, and as fans, if you guys can race clean and have this, this might be the new best thing as opposed to the rivalries that fans think that they want with the contact.
I think so. Times have changed, you know. I think a lot of us certainly have put their egos down, and if anything, it helped all of us because we all ride in our separate little bubble. And then, like, when we came down to the TLD track, it was a breath of fresh air, and obviously we offered as well that those guys can come up and ride our track, especially with the limitations of public tracks. There's really nothing that is that great out there, and not as many tracks anymore. So I think the teams within, and I certainly have already talked to multiple people that we will probably start doing in the future, meaning just swapping out tracks, because they're all in the same spot there anyways, and I don't really know what the problem is with that. You know, we all benefit from it, and we're all in the same spot there. So it was nice. It was a breath of fresh air, and I think it helped us just being around some of the fast guys. It kind of felt like we're a little bit like we're at the race already, and it just feels familiar coming here. So it was a great idea.
Do you think that hurts your or it's a disadvantage with intensity if you kind of like a rival? Because you go back to RC where he ruined the sport with his intensity, you know, with all basically being a rival even with his own teammates. Is that a disadvantage, you guys, to point in your career where you can separate that?
It just depends. It depends where you're at mentally too, right? Like RC, you know, he was never allowed to ride with anybody else around, you know. So, and now look at them. They have like 4 really fast guys, you know, including 250 or maybe even more, and they pretty much do a race every single day. And it sure has its benefits, but at the same time, I just look at it as that it gets old. You know, we race enough throughout the year, and I'm still around fast guys. You know, obviously Chase coming to the track, or we went to Stewart's, and I'm around Adam all the time. Like, we still have some of that, but I'm just better off of doing a little bit of my own thing and kind of just pick my battles and, you know, get some confidence. And then we race enough when we get to the races. So that's my theory behind it.
All right. Thanks, guys. That's all I get. Daniel.
Mitch Kendra.
Hey, just a quick one for Christian. You mentioned about just having the fans back and everything and the struggles that you've been through the last couple of years. What does it mean to you to have your biggest fans back, your family, with you on a day like today? You know, you're at the top, you want to see you succeed. What's it like to have them with you when you're, you know, they've seen you struggle? What's it like to have them on today with you?
Oh, it's awesome. It's I have the whole family here. It sucks that the kids can't come to the race. I mean, Jagger would have to be tested if he wanted to come to the race, and I'm not going to have that happen. So they got to stay back with the babysitter, but the wife's there, and just the support, it's awesome. But it's still not fully back to normal. Yeah, the fans were awesome, but when when I come off that, when I go to the podium, I want my wife there to celebrate, and she wasn't down there, unfortunately. But we're making steps in the right direction. Supercross and Feld is doing an awesome job with just bringing back fans at all. So I enjoyed it.
Awesome, thanks, and congrats on the win.
Thanks.
Last one, Steve Giverson, Vital MX.
Hey, Christian, listening to Kenny and Justin talk about patience and all that, there was a point early in the 250 main where you and RJ were pretty much side by side in the rhythm section after the whoops, and you guys were going for it. There was no backing off, no patience there, I don't think.
You can't really compare the 250 and 450 class. A lot smarter riders in the 450 class, and they set up passes, and when you're going to get passed or you're going to pass someone, where the 250 class is a little more wild. You got the young bucks out there that have a hard time with dealing with getting past. And I knew RJ was going to be tough. He's fast. He's been fast, for years. So I knew I had to make quick work and get by on lap one. And that's what I did. I made fast work, and I tried to break away as fast as possible because I know he was looking at that 29 machine after the heat race.
Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Hey, congratulations, guys, again on a great night of racing, and get some rest, heal them bodies up, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Good job.